Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another box office wrap-up video. That's right, I'm back. Last week I didn't do one. I apologize. I was going to do one, but the weekend didn't really interest me enough, and also I was doing My Hero Academia shit, so I apologize for all you people that don't give a shit about My Hero Academia. I'm sure you're like, where's the box office video? But you know what? I'm here to do it now, and I feel like I have a duty to please that booty. So you better get ready. No, I have a duty to talk about the last week for box office as well. So while I'm talking about this week in box office, I'm going to also mention last week. So like when I talk about the second weekend for a certain movie, I'll talk about how well it did the week previously. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get this weekend. Of course, we had the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not only that, but we had the second weekend, third weekend of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We had the first weekend for the first Purge. We had the fourth weekend for Incredibles 2. We had a pretty solid, jam-packed weekend. We had the second weekend of Sicario 2, Uncle Drew, my favorite movie. And what else? That's about it. And everything else was kind of, old stuff that you expect in the top 10 just because, it's not 10 really big movies, so something else has to fill out those remaining few numbers. But let's get to it, okay? Where is my list, baby? Where is it? It's right here. There it is. So everybody thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was gonna be number one. Big surprise, it's number one. Here it is. Let me tap it. There you go. Tapping it. So there you go. Ant-Man and the Wasp, number one with $76 million. That is less than I thought. I thought it would actually grow a little bit bigger. I was going to assume around the mid-80s. I was saying 84 million. But it didn't make that much. It made 76, which is still pretty damn good. It's like a 20, maybe a little bit less, maybe like $19 million increase over the first weekend of the first movie, which is not a bad increase. When you had Thor 1 compared to Thor 2, you had about like a $25 million increase. Same thing for Captain America, I believe. That was actually like a $30 million increase. So that one went up higher. Guardians 2, it was like a $50 million increase. So you know what? It's not as big as the other ones, but it makes sense because not everybody loved the first Ant-Man. Me personally, I loved it. I really did. It's actually in my top 10. I think it's number 6, actually. I love that movie. I really do. It's just a fun film. And you can say, the villain was weak, but I feel like the main focus wasn't the villain anyway. So, you don't always need to have a great villain to have a great, fun movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Ant-Man movie, the first one. And I really enjoyed this one. I thought the villain was definitely better, more interesting. I thought Paul Rudd was a charm machine. That man is charming. I don't know what to tell you. I had a great time. So anyway, Ant-Man and the Wasp did great, 76 million. Worldwide, I believe it did pretty damn well. Like, just overall, $161 million, which is actually, I think, better than Solo did in its first weekend. Didn't Solo, barely crack $150 million in its first weekend worldwide? So Ant-Man and Wasp doing better, worldwide at least. Solo did $82 million in its first weekend. So technically, Solo is doing better. But, yeah, I think Ant-Man's going to have better legs than Solo. Just like the first Ant-Man. First Ant-Man actually had pretty good legs, where it made $57 million in its first weekend, and it legged itself to $180 million, which was pretty good for a $57 million opening. Usually those range in the 130 to 150 range after all said and done, but this, not the first one, baby. Everybody wants to see that Ant-Man movie, okay? Everybody was like, what the hell's Ant-Man? That's weird, that's stupid, I'm not seeing that, and then everybody went to go see it. So yeah, so you shut your mouth. So anyway, there you go, Ant-Man. That's number one. Big surprise. Number 2 is Incredibles 2. Only dropped 35% this weekend, which is not surprising because it dropped 37%. Anyway, it's not surprising because, it's a family movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp can be considered a family film, but it's the only family-centric film out right now, so that makes sense. Number 3, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which, of course, I reviewed yesterday, I think. I finally got around to reviewing it. Jurassic Kingdom Fallen World dropped 53% in its third weekend, $28.5 million. It is at $333 million, and it has surpassed one huge goal. And no big surprise here, it passed $1 billion. It actually passed $1 billion back in, I think, Thursday, but I didn't do a video for it because I'm not the biggest fan of this movie. I don't think anybody really is, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that really liked it, but even people that really liked it aren't going to say it's one of the best movies of this year unless they haven't seen anything else. So, you know, or you're younger. You know, I'm not saying you're a child, but a lot of younger kids do like this movie. I have a nephew that loved it. Big surprise. But yeah, and he's young. He's really young, so big surprise. But yeah, 28.5. That's pretty good. Now it's not a big drop considering it's one of the lesser summer blockbusters when it comes to critical reviews. Solo is doing way worse, or did way worse than Jurassic World, and Jurassic World had way worse reviews and critical and audience reception than that movie. So, and I would say Star Wars, at least at one point, was a bigger brand than Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. So I guess now Jurassic World's better than Star Wars, even though I don't think Jurassic World's going to get anywhere near The Last Jedi, at least in America. It might actually get there foreign, which isn't surprising because I don't think anybody gives a shit about Star Wars anymore in foreign markets, which isn't surprising considering it's Star Wars. That's ours. You know, The Mermaid isn't going to do well over here for all you Chinese people. You love that movie, you motherfuckers. If you like Chinese cinema, that's one of the biggest movies there ever. Anyway, it's called The Mermaid. It actually looked kind of fun. I did actually want to watch it. But anyway, number 4, The First Purge did 17.1 million, which is not that great compared to the other movies. But you have to remember it opened on Wednesday, so it actually made $31 million for its 5-day weekend. That's not bad. It did really well on its first day. It did like $9 million alone on its first day. But that made sense. It was 4th of July and everybody's out for summer. You know, everybody that's really going to see this, which is teenagers and maybe even younger kids. Because let's not fuck around. These movies get all kinds of crowds because they keep it safe, but they still make it rated R. You know, I mean, there's blood and gore, but it's not like over the top. It's not Saw or anything. So they keep it relatively tame enough where kids can still see it. But they put that R rating so they entice the kids. Like, oh, this one's rated R. I need to see it. Ooh, and the parents are like, yeah, well, it's a Purge movie. I've seen the other ones. They're not that violent. Go ahead. Go ahead, kids. I have to buy a ticket for you. But after I do, go ahead. I'll go see it. Fuck it. So there you go. That's how they lure people in. That's exactly their game plan. I just nailed it right there. But $31 million, I'm sure it'll do like $50-60 million not worldwide, overall. Worldwide, it'll do well. This franchise ain't going nowhere. Yeah, and I actually heard this is actually one of the best ones, which I feel like I hear that every time there's a new one. Like, oh, this was way better than the last one. I still like Anarchy the most because Frank Grillo is a fucking badass. That movie's straight up an action movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a horror movie. That is an action movie. And when Frank Grillo gets unleashed, man, that man should have been the Punisher. Like, I love John Bernthal, but I love me some Frank Grillo. Like, that man should have been the Punisher. You watch the Purge Anarchy, and you realize, yeah, he should have been Punisher. They should cast him. Like, if they had, like, 2 different universes for TV show and movies, like, TV show could be John Bernthal, and movies could be Frank Grillo. But they already cast Frank Grillo as Crossbones from Captain America, so they already fucked it up. But anyway... At least he's in there. Yeah, at least you could say, hey, Frank Grillo was in there. And he actually might come back in a future Captain America. That's what the rumors are suggesting. I don't know how he blew the fuck up in Civil War. Spoilers. I'm sure everybody saw it, though. And he's a lesser character, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, First Purge, great. Number 5, Sicario Day of the Soldado, which is good because I need to talk about last week, which it actually did extremely well. Most people thought it was going to do $12 million around there, which is how much the original did. People were really excited for this one, I guess, because it made $19 million in its first weekend, which, considering what it is, that's pretty damn good. And also, like, even though Sicario 1 was a huge success when it comes to critics, I don't think audiences loved it as much as critics. I could be wrong, but I remember a lot of people... Like, I think the cinema score wasn't even that great. I think it was like a B-, C+ or something like that for Sicario, because they all thought it was going to be like this really awesome like action movie. And there was some great action, but it was like in service of the story besides just having action. And I heard this movie is way more about the action. So, of course, I heard the cinema score was like a B+ for this one. Big surprise. But I've heard it's still solid enough, so I'm going to go see it probably tomorrow. I might see The First Purge tomorrow, actually, so That's not true. Anyway, it did $19 million last weekend, but it did drop pretty hard this weekend. It made $7.3 million, but considering its budget was only $35 million, and at this point it's at $35 million, and I think it's actually doing pretty well foreign-wise, right? Well, it made $8 million last weekend. I don't know how much it made this weekend. I don't think it's updated yet, but I think the first Sicario did really well foreign, considering what kind of movie it was. So I think this movie's gonna be okay when it comes to financially, and yeah, I think we'll see the third movie in the series. I don't see why not. Number 6, Uncle Drew. Uncle Drew. I actually heard that movie's not bad. Actually, if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if it's exactly the same now, but like back on like Sunday last week, Uncle Drew had a higher score on Rotten Tomatoes than fucking Sicario. A sequel to an Academy Award winning, or Academy Award nominated, actually, was he even nominated? A movie that should have been nominated for an Academy Award. Yeah, I think it got nominated for cinematography from Roger Deakins, at least I'm assuming. So I think it's nominated, whatever. Anyway, a great film, got a sequel, and Uncle Drew surpassed that sequel in critic reviews. I don't know how that fucking worked, because I watched the trailers for Uncle Drew, and every time they happened, I was like, this is a fucking joke. This is a joke. And I heard it was actually kind of fun. I heard it was very similar to how, not in tone, but like how people were expecting I Can Only Imagine to be a piece of shit, and it actually ended up being okay. Like, oh, that was actually pretty good. Like, the trailers made it look like, you know, it was just another Christian movie. This one just made it look like another fucking stupid ass, like, oh, basketball players are being funny, whoa! And it actually ended up being a fun movie. Alright, even Double Toasted kind of liked it. I was like, what the fuck? What am I? What kind of fucking hellscape am I living in? But alright, fine. $15 million it did last weekend, and this weekend only dropped, it dropped 56%, so that's a pretty big drop. But overall, it's already made $29 million. It only cost like $18 million to make or some shit, so it's doing fine. Kyrie Irving is doing okay. Shaq has Shaq Fu. You know, that movie, I mean, that game sucked, I heard. And, like, it's not even funny how bad it was. It's just, like, bad. So, yeah, not doing so well. Number 7 is Ocean's 8. I've talked about this movie about 25 times, or at least 3 other times. It did well in its 5th weekend, $5.2 million. 8, it was Tag, $3.1 million. 9 was Won't You Be My Neighbor, which is still not out in my motherfucking theater. It's like nowhere in New York. I looked it up. The only place is in a theater, an AMC theater in New York City, and I do not want to travel 2 hours. Not only that, but actually go into the city to see a movie. I don't want to do it. I don't. So I'd rather just wait. So it's coming. It's opening up in more theaters, and it's doing really well. I can't wait to see that movie. I really can't. It's going to be a great movie. I've heard it's excellent. I've heard it's one of the best documentaries of the last few years, and I love me some Fred Rogers, so... Oh. Fuck. Anyway, number 10. Number 10 is Deadpool 2. Still hanging in there. It's been out for, what, 6 weeks at this point? 8 weeks? God damn! Oh my god, my life just flashed before my eyes. $1.6 million, made $314 million. It's actually getting pretty close to the first Deadpool, I believe, right? Actually, no, the first Deadpool, yeah, I was about to say it did way more than that. But considering, you know, didn't have the as much hype as the original movie had going into it, and also it was like sandwiched in between a bunch of other movies. Even though Solo bombed, let's not be, I mean, that's not fuck around. Like, Solo still made $80 million in his first weekend, so people did probably say, you know what, Deadpool 2, that's cool, but I'm going to see Solo instead. I'm sure there was people that were like that. So having that, and also Avengers still being out there, and of course Jurassic World coming up, and Incredibles 2 probably dampened it a little bit. I know Incredibles 2 is a completely different audience, but again, let's not fuck around. A lot of kids wanted to see Deadpool 2. My cousin went to go see it, and he's 10, okay? And I actually brought him to it. You know why? Because there was no sex. No sex? Then it's fine. He can watch all the heads that explode as much as he wants. It doesn't matter. You know? He knows it's fake. Sex? If you see one nipple, though, no, not allowed. No nips. You can blow off a head, but no nips. Yeah? Hashtag no nips. Whatever. But there you go. Deadpool 2. Good job. Good job. I don't know why I keep saying good job. Good job. Everybody can go round of applause. Number 11 was Whitney, which is the documentary for Whitney Houston. Didn't do that well. It did $1.2 million, which isn't too bad for a documentary, but it opened up in 452 theaters. Average theater The per theater average was only like a little over, or a little less than $3,000 dollars. So that's not great, especially since Whitney Houston was a huge megastar, and this actually got some hype. This Whitney documentary. I don't know if it actually is supposed to be a pretty good documentary or not. Actually, let me check. I'm gonna check right now. Whitney, yeah, 91%. Yeah, I really want to see Sorry to Bother You, but of course, I'm pretty sure that movie is not gonna come out around here anytime soon, because fuck me, I guess. And number 12 was Sanju, which is, I'm assuming, a Bollywood movie. Yeah. Is it? Sanju, what the fuck is this? I think it is. Sanju? I don't know what the fuck that is. It's Bollywood? It's Bollywood. Okay. Alright. 50% Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, a lot of those Bollywood movies don't end up getting really great reviews. Like that race one I talked about. That's actually gone from this list completely. I'm looking at the actual full list. You guys are just seeing this list right here. I'm actually looking at the full list. I don't even see that. But that race movie was supposedly really terrible. But it did well over here because, you know, it's Bollywood. I feel like a lot of Bollywood movies come out. So, like, look at this. Already we got another one. And they do well. Leave No Trace. That's another one I want to see. But that's like in 30-something theaters. Fuck. So many movies. I still want to see... Oh, it's the Joaquin Phoenix movie. I really wanted to see, and it never came out around here, and it pissed me off. Oh, what is it called? I'll look it up after this. I'm sure someone's gonna say it's this. Where he plays a hitman and he has to protect a girl. You never looked at me or something. It had like a title like that. Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you be my neighbor? Anyway, that's the second weekend for Sanju. Did 1.2 million this weekend. Did around 3 million last weekend. So yeah. Pretty good. It was like 2.7 million last weekend, but yeah, pretty good for a Bollywood movie. Good job. Sorry to Bother You did 717,000 off of 16 theaters, which is pretty damn good. That's a third of Whitney's, and Whitney had 452 theaters, and Sorry to Bother You had 16. So that's a pretty big fucking difference. I'm sorry, a third? Did I say a third? I meant like more than half actually. I can't do math. I can't do math. Usually I'm good with math. I can't do math though. I can't. I'm a stupid. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I guess we could check out the poll I did. Which I actually did 2 of them, so I guess we should check out both of them, right? That only makes sense. I did. All right, you know what? Let's do that. I'm actually signed into my other YouTube channel, so hopefully I can still find it. Here we go. All right, so I did one for Uncle Drew. So let's check out Uncle Drew first. The one I did for Uncle Drew. Uncle Drew! Here we go. I did one for Uncle Drew. I asked you, how much do you think the best movie of 2018 Uncle Drew will make this weekend? I said 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, 1 billion, and 5 billion. Now, of course, it didn't make that much. I was a little off in my poll suggestions. Me, I thought maybe 1 billion. I was lowballing it, but it ended up only making like 15 million, that's a shame. But I think most people said 5 billion. Yeah, most people said 5. Oh no, most people said 100 million. They were lowballing it. See, they still got wrong though. So that's how you. Oh, I guess I could say in my select play channel. Let's see. It good lol. There you go. I'll just comment on my own fucking. Come on. All right, so that was Uncle Drew. That was a joke one, obviously, because I could have asked for Sicario, but I thought it'd be funnier if I just did the Uncle Drew one. All right, now here we go. A little late, but how much do you think? Because I posted this on Friday, so how much do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp will make this weekend? 373 people voted. By the way, like 290 people voted for the Uncle Drew one, and I think most people said 90 to 100 million. Actually, most people said Ant-Man. That's how I say Ant-Man. Ant-Man! Yeah, most people besides Ant-Man said 90 to 100 million. Comments. Ant-Man! Here. Ant-Man! There you go. Comment on my own shit. It's an MCU movie. 100 million is lowballing it. Not for Ant-Man. Ant-Man! Sorry, I said it wrong. This guy almost nailed. Look at this. Wind Kraken. 1.1 solo dollars equals 83.3 million. times 10% equals 91.63 million USD. So I'm going to stick with my 1.1 Solo dollars. There you go. Did Solo make that much in its first weekend? No, it made 83.3. Okay. I was correct. That's true. I did say 1 Solo dollar. Or I didn't say 1.1 Solo dollar. I can't remember what I said, but I was really close when I predicted it, to be fair. I wasn't. I got nowhere near that. I said like 110 million. It didn't even get close to that. Every Marvel movie is overrated, enough said. And not everyone. Come on. Thor? Thor 2? Most people say those aren't great films, and they're not. They're fun. Thor 2 is not that fun. I just rewatched Thor 2. It's not fun. It's generic. It's awfully generic. I really liked it when it first came out too, which is a damn shame. But yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it. So that was a way longer than it needed to be box office wrap up, but we got through it. What's the wrap up? Let me do the wrap up for the wrap up. Okay. So here's the wrap up for the wrap up. All right. So we got Uncle Drew. It made a lot of money. That's it. That's all that's important. No, of course. Incredibles 2 has crossed over $500 million, meaning Incredibles 2 is I should have mentioned this earlier. I completely forgot. The highest grossing animated film of all time in America alone. If you don't count foreign, it is. I could see it actually getting to being the #1 animated movie of all time when it comes to the box office. Which is amazing. See, you shouldn't have waited that fucking long to make it, you motherfucker. Sorry, I'm gonna calm down, you motherfuckers. I know it was Brad Bird's fault mainly because he couldn't think of a story, but you know what? You wasted all that time making Tomorrowland. Fucking nobody wanted Tomorrowland. I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did actually want. I wanted it. I did. And I actually kind of like that movie now. But yeah. And Mission Impossible 4 was great. You know, never mind. I'm sorry, Brad Bird. I'm sorry. You made good stuff, but next time just do Incredibles 2. You know, in a different universe, if you do Incredibles 1 in 2004, just do Incredibles 2 3 or 4 years later. Don't wait this long. Just don't. I know it takes a long time to make these. Just think harder next time. You know, this was a simple story. I loved Incredibles 2, but it was a very simple story. You could have did this. I didn't see how this story really made you go, oh my god, for 14 years. So just make it next time. Just do it. Anyway, what else? Jurassic World's doing fucking great. $1 billion. Good for you. And Ant-Man's doing great too. So there you go. That's it. Goodbye!